couldn't get it into gear, and we're going around, and he's like one hand on the wheel feathering it while it's sliding towards a curb, trying to ram it in gear, and I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah. He really trusted your mechanical knowledge there.
Yeah. And we got to the end of that lap and everyone was cheering over the walkie-talkie and everything. That was probably one of the most memorable moments of my, car-related life.
Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Talkin Shop. Today we're on the road with Taylor of TaylorMade Cars and AutoAlex. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let us know who you want on Talkin Shop next. Thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. There you go. There's the scripted bit out of the way. We hate it. We mention it every time. I hate it.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you, and also how on earth did you now get into the world of cars, which is now your life?
So it's a bit of an odd one, actually, because I've always been into cars, but never expected to be in the world of YouTube. It's a bit of a... It was a sort of right place, right time kind of thing. I started off in the motor trade. So I was a mechanic for 12 years, just in a backstreet garage. And then for a period of 2 years, I worked on classic and American sports cars, stuff like that. And I realised, I really liked it. I always had a passion for working on cool, interesting, old crap, basically. And I did that for a couple of years. And then I worked for the AA. I was a roadside patrol. Again, really enjoyed it. I always enjoyed satisfying people and fixing their cars and then being really happy and appreciative. And I got a real buzz out of it. Yeah. I always really, really enjoyed it. I loved fixing stuff, very hands-on, always very mechanical. And then after COVID, decided to set up my own business. And I started buying and selling and fixing cars out of a little shed in Hertfordshire. It was actually an old chicken shed. And, the roof used to leak and it was windy in the winter and it was cold and it was a bit miserable in there. But I just really liked going up there on my own, fixing stuff. And, I used to have a lot of old stuff, never really did new stuff. And, just really, really enjoyed it.
Nice.
And then I met Alex Kirsten. One day I was in Costco in West London and a friend of mine, Joe, saw that Alex, because I always used to follow Car Throttle. I used to watch Car Throttle all the time and I followed Alex and I actually met him at the Ace Cafe. I think it was in 2016 briefly and, got a little selfie with him and stuff like that.
Wow.
And, I was always a fan of everything they'd done and enjoyed watching it. And I saw that he put a post up saying, has anyone got a 330i manual touring for sale? And I had one at the time. I had a 1-of-1 Techno Violet individual. There's not another one out there. High mileage, and I know he likes that sort of stuff. It had 220,000 miles on it, whatever it was. And I didn't really want to sell it. And my mate Joe kept saying, go on, just message him. It would be cool. Like, you don't really use it. Why don't you sell it to him? You can see it on YouTube and it'll be interesting and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, so, walking around Costco, I sent Alex a message and I said, I've got one. It's a 1-of-1. It's high mileage. It's what you like. And he was like, when can I come? Like straight away, are you around today sort of thing. And he was supposed to go and look at another one and it ended up being a bit rubbish, I think. I can't remember the exact story of that. So he then came that evening to see mine and he said, like, can I come now? And I was like, well, I'm about an hour and a bit away from my unit. And he was like, okay, same. So we sort of both left at the same time. He met me at my unit and I met him, Gareth and Chris, his, best mates, his right-hand men. And they came and looked at the car, walked around it and he bought it and he took it away that day. And it was like, we got chatting to them and they're really, really nice guys. And it was the next day that I really got to know Alex because he was on his way to a Car Throttle shoot at This Is Your Garage. He was driving up the M40 and it broke down. Boy, oh boy, did I hear about it. It was all over social media and I was like, oh, this is not good. So, I would have done it anyway, but I went and picked him up and, I picked the car up on the trailer and I said, look, I'll sort it out. It's not a problem, and then I'll drop it back to you. And it turns out that it had a faulty fuel gauge, and it got to a quarter of a tank and it ran out of petrol. So he got it recovered to a petrol station, filled it up with petrol, and then it leaked everywhere.
Brilliant.
So I came and picked it up from his house, got chatting to him. He was happy at that point. He was quite annoyed earlier in the day, but it was all right at that point. Picked it up, fixed the car, put a new fuel pump sender in it, and resealed it and everything. And then I put a full tank of fuel in it, and I checked to make sure it was all right, and then I dropped it back to him the next day. I even cleaned it, and dropped it back to him. And when I delivered it to him, again, just got chatting to him. I was really polite to him, and we got chatting about BMW X5s and trailers and things like that, because I had an X5 at the time that I towed it there with, and he really liked it, and he took an interest to it, and he said, I'd really like to buy one of those. If I want to buy one, what should I look out for and stuff? And I told him, and he said, would you help me find one? And I said, yeah, no problem. So, I didn't hear from him for a few weeks after that. And then he messaged me one day and he said, look, I want to buy an X5. Can you help me buy one? And I went to his, and we had a little chat and a sit down, and I found this blue one in London, and we went to go and have a look at it, and it turned out to be rubbish. So after that, we ended up going to West Kebab, which was very famous from Car Throttle. They always used to sit in West Kebab and look for cars. And I was like, at that point, I was like, oh my God, I'm sat opposite Alex Kirsten in West Kebab, having a kebab, and we're looking at BMW X5s, like mind blown. What is going on? Yeah. It was really, really cool. And after that, I couldn't really find a nice one. So we, again, left it a few weeks. And then a little while later, I found this dark red BMW X5 manual diesel for sale in, I think it was Liverpool or Blackpool, and it was 900 quid, or it was £1,000 or something like that. It was really cheap, but it's a really nice spec. Double categorised, so it's been written off twice. Perfect, the one you want. Yeah. Bit of lacquer peel. And I said to him, look, I found this car, I think we should go and buy it. And he went, all right, let's go tonight. So we drove up in an evening, and we got chatting the whole way up there. It was one of those where the whole journey, it was a few hours long, and you're just constantly chatting and talking, and it was just really, really nice. And we got up there, bought the car, drove it back, and we at that point started to form a bit of a bond, and the friendship started to evolve. And a few weeks after that, again, at this point he's still working for Car Throttle. He said, I want to film a bit of a review on the BMW X5. Can we get your one and my one together? Would you want to be on camera? And I was like, well, I don't know. I've never done. I don't even like taking pictures of myself, let alone being on camera. Proper shy. Never done anything like that before. I was a bit like, oh, I don't actually know. And then I said, okay, yeah, we'll do it. I think it'd be quite fun. I'll give it a go. Why not? So he came up to my unit one day, and he brought his X5 along, and I'd have mine, I cleaned it all, put it all outside, tyre shine on it, all lovely. He turned up in his, covered in crap, parked it next to mine. And then I saw Rory. Rory was with him as well. And at this point, I think this was the second time I'd met Rory. I'd met him briefly once before. And, I showed him around my unit, and I had a few old cars in there because I was a big fan of like E36s and old BMs and stuff like that. And, I was showing him around and telling him all the stories of all the different cars and various states of disrepair and stuff like that. And my 6 Series was in there, my 635 CSI. Now, that is a car that's, it's my forever car. It's got a cool story to it. I've had it a while. It's, it's very different. It's very, it's more the story that makes that car. And I was, telling Rory about the story of it and how I got it and stuff like that. And he said, would you want to film that? And I said, yeah, sure. Why not? And he went outside and he said to Alex, forget the X5s. I want to film this. Literally spur of the moment thing, completely unplanned. Cancel that. Let's do this. And I was like, right, okay, this is different. So they were like, right, we're going to start filming. Do you want to come out the unit and introduce yourself? And I didn't know when they were filming, when the cameras were rolling, what to say. I just sort of went with it. And I thought there was a Burger King hat in there that I got the day before or whatever. I put it on my head as a laugh. I came out and just started talking. And as I say, I didn't know what to say. I just started waffling away and telling about all the cars, or, I was really nervous, really, really nervous. And, quite anxious about it and all that. And in the end, we did a good bit of filming. We went out for a drive in it. It literally took half a day, if that. And they posted it, and then it ended up being their most viewed video on AutoAlex for the best part of 2.5 years.
Nice.
I think it's currently on 1.8 million views.
Wow.
The £25 BMW.
Yeah.
And it just sort of, it went from there really.
Yeah.
Alex, he asked me if I wanted to do a couple more bits, and I said, well, I'm actually moving out this unit to a bigger one. If you ever want to use the ramp or, come up and put your cars there or whatever, you're more than welcome to. And they did, and we used to spend loads of late evenings and time up there working on cars, and we did a Jimny off-roader, and we did his Honda S2000. We did Matt Pollard's MX-5 in there and things like that. And they mostly used to come and completely destroy my office with cake up the wall and hummus everywhere. I remember there being hummus all up the ceiling one day. But we always had a great laugh, and we always just loved working on cars, whether it be freezing cold, sweating hot, raining, whatever. We just always had a laugh.
Nice.
And it stemmed from there really.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where I was able to move away from, car sales and stuff and go full-time YouTube, which I am now. And so even now, I have to sort of pinch myself a little bit, especially when we're on road trips, traveling the world and going through Switzerland and things like that. I'm thinking, wow, is this actually real? Like,
this is my job.
Yeah. Completely unexpected. And, even now, I spend time with the guys out there, Will and Edwin obviously work on site, and they all used to work, in YouTube or social media in some form. They've done it for years. They've done it for 10 plus years. And I'm sat there, if we go out for food or whatever, and I'm like, yep, I'm still an amateur. I still feel that every day I'm learning loads of new stuff. I'd say in the last year to year and a half, maybe 2 years, I've learned more than I have in the majority of my life.
Yeah.
It's been a real learning curve, but it's been awesome. It has been really, really cool.
And it's clear to see, especially with comments and things that you read, that people do think you've got a very natural way with the camera. It's almost like you have done it for a lot longer.
Yeah.
And like you're heading up like the V2 channel, doing a lot of sort of content on your own with that, aren't you, as well?
Yeah, I find that quite natural because, I do it with Rory and a lot of the guys here I get along with really well. Yeah. I've started doing it on my own recently because I have set up my own channel, TaylorMade Cars, and I've been filming some bits on my own. And still now I do get a bit anxious, and I'm thinking, I'm not quite as natural yet.
Yeah.
I'm still easing my way into that. It's still very new to me, but I feel like hopefully I will, with a bit of time, pick it up and be more comfortable with it. But yeah, as I say, literally every day is a learning curve. So it's it's a lot to take in for sure.
Yeah, because it's quite an interesting, I'm pretty sure a pretty interesting story with your channel name. Is that correct? How you set your, you call it TaylorMade Cars, but did someone buy the original name that you wanted to call it?
Yeah.
Is that, am I right in thinking that was the case?
Yeah. So we did an AutoAlex podcast, and I mentioned on there, I'm going to set up my own channel, and I spoke about it, and I said I was quite excited or whatever, and this was before I'd actually taken TaylorMade Cars on YouTube. And I didn't even think about it at the time, silly old me. I never think about stuff like that. And the podcast went out, and I think like a couple of days after it went out, I went to, start the channel. It's like, this name's been taken. And I was like, oh no, really? Has someone done that?
Amateur.
And then someone messaged me on Instagram, and he was like, I heard you were going to start your own channel, so I've taken the name. Do you want to buy it? And it was like $1,000 or a couple of grand, whatever. And I thought, you cheeky git. But fair play.
You can see it from both sides. Oh,
yeah.
Did you have to give him some money then?
No, I didn't. I wouldn't give in to it. I'm too stubborn, so I set it up as TaylorMade Cars Official. I think you still got it. I was too stubborn. Yeah. I might one day. I'm not that hard pressed by it, but I was really annoyed at the time. I was really angry, actually. I was like, that's, you're a podcast listener, and I feel like you've betrayed me. And I was like, actually, it's quite good business mind. That it's going to earn a few £100 out of it.
It's a story to tell,
yeah. So, but I never think about stuff like that.
Yeah. What does your personal garage look like at the minute? What have you got?
So I was thinking about this the other day because I actually forget what cars I have because they're all dotted about all over the place. I currently have 9 cars. I did have more, but I sold some because I realised that having loads of cars that constantly need work and maintenance and stuff like that is actually quite stressful, and it's hard to keep on top of it. And I thought, I'm going to sell some and then just concentrate on the ones I have and get them to a really, really nice standard. So today I've come in my Volkswagen Touareg. I've got Touareg V10 TDI because I like cars with silly engines that shouldn't really exist but do. So that's a 5 litre twin turbo diesel. Does about 20 odd miles to the gallon. It's horrendously inefficient and it's too large, but I just really like it. And I've just done a load of restoration work on that on my channel, which is going to come out this week actually. And loads of work on it. I bought it damaged, so it's categorized, and I fixed it without even taking it to a body shop, which is quite interesting. So I have that, and then my other daily that I tend to use more often is a 330D, so 2016 F30, and then I have my 6 Series, which I will never sell.
Yeah, holy grail.
And then I have a 540i E39, which I bought about 5 years ago, just coming out of lockdown. And it's a one-of-one car. It's got a bit of a cool story to it. I never knew what it was at the time. I've got sort of messaged by my friend Anthony, who runs part of the BMW Car Club, and he said, I've got a friend selling this car. It's a bit of a sort of barn find sort of thing. It's been sat half on a drive in London for about 6 or 7 years in a bush. Do you want to buy it? And at the time I didn't know what it was. I just knew it was an E39 Touring. So I went down to go and buy it and had a little look at it, realised it was a V8 manual. I thought, this is cool. And I ended up buying it, and I bought it to sell it. And then I got it running, fell in love with it. Cut a long story short, I still got it. I fully restored it, done loads of bits to it, all the suspension, full respray, wheels, tyres, you name it, I've done it. And I've just supercharged it. And I haven't driven it yet, supercharged. It's currently up north at the moment with my mate James being dynoed. And it started off at 285 horsepower, which is factory, and it's now about 440.
Wow. Yeah,
so I'm quite excited to take it out for its
sure.
first drive, as you can probably imagine.
Yeah.
The idea is that I wanted to do an M5 Touring without doing the engine swap and stuff.
Yeah.
So I said to him, as long as I get one more horsepower than an M5, I'm fine with that. And it turns out it's done 40 more. So have that. And then I have a 330i manual Touring, which I took to the Nürburgring. That was actually a channel car, so that was bought by AutoAlex. And some of them I get a bit attached to and I end up buying off the channel afterwards and keeping. And that was one of them. That's currently having bodywork done because it was completely rotten when I bought it. All the arches are rotted out inside and out, so I've had all that welded up. That is going for paint this week actually, and then I'm going to bring it in here, fix it up, and then I'll probably sell that one afterwards because I don't really have much of a use for it. But I wanted to do right by it before I sell it because it's a really good car. And I overtook Alex's M3 Touring on the Nürburgring in it. So I thought I've got to repay the favour to it.
Yeah. Thank you, old friend.
Yeah. So I have that. And then I have an R53 Cooper S, which I blew up at the Nürburgring and put an engine in it. And I've done loads too. And it's been signed by, Mike Brewer, Matt Watson, Matt Armstrong, Tavares. It's
Mega.
A very, very cool little car that I have a silly attachment to that I shouldn't do because it's an absolute pain because it breaks down most times that I drive it, but I just love it.
Yeah.
And I actually sold it beginning of the year and immediately regretted it and then ended up buying it back a few weeks ago. So I now have that back. And again, I'm going to bring it in here and do a load of work on it and fix it up and, do a couple of videos on it. Hopefully take it back to the Nürburgring at some point and not blow it up.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So yeah, I have that. And then I also have an E60 M5 V10, nice. Which I was really on the fence about buying. I was a bit scared to buy it because I've heard all the horror stories of an E60 M5, but I always wanted one. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to pull the plug. I'm going to buy one. And I bought one with really good bodywork that needed a few mechanicals because I knew that I'd have to fix it regardless. I thought I don't want to fix it and do all the bodywork on it. So yeah, got that. That's been constant maintenance since I bought it. I've spent, I think I worked it out the other day, £5,800 just on parts since I've had it. I've not had it a year yet. So have that. I do have plans for that. I want to DCT swap it and do something cool with it. And then what else? I've got 205 GTI, Peugeot 205 GTI, which I recently took to Monaco on one of our trips, which is MI16 swapped. And I think that's it. Is that 9?
Do you know what? I've lost count.
I've lost count, yeah.
I'm sure it's a daily occurrence with yourself.
Yeah.
But, that sounds about right.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's quite a sort of mix.
Yeah. Of BMWs.
Of BMWs, yeah.
Yeah.
I am a big BMW fanboy. I never, again, something that I never really intended to get into was BMWs. I actually started off, I also have my first car, which I've forgotten about, which is my Punto. I've got a Fiat Punto. I've had it for 15 years. I don't use it. I don't look at it because it's currently in storage at my mate's unit. And but I know that I've got it. It's in the back of my head. It still exists. I will do something with it one day. Yeah. But yeah, I know that I have it, which is, I really enjoy it. Just having that thought in my head.
It's your comfort blanket.
Yeah.
I think everyone wishes they could either own or buy back their first
Everyone
cars.
says that.
Yeah.
Literally everyone says that. And that's the reason I still have mine. It's not worth anything. And I know that if I was to sell it, it would, probably get run into the ground and it would fall into a state of disrepair. So, it has cost me a bit to store it over the years, but I don't mind.
Yeah.
It's just the fact, my mum bought me that car when I was 16 before I could drive for 110 quid because it was going to be scrapped. And it was going to be scrapped because the garage I worked at got it in from a customer and the head gasket had gone. And I said, can I buy it as a first car? At the time I wanted a Corsa, God knows why. But, I saw this little red Punto and it had 60,000 miles on the clock and I thought, that'd be perfect. And I bought it my mum bought it for 110 quid and I did the head gasket on it. First time I'd ever done a head gasket. And, I sort of learnt my trade on that little car. And I've done so much to it over the years. I put all the Abarth kit on it and the Alfa Romeo leather seats and everything. And going back to it, I never intended to get into BMWs. I was always into Italian cars. So when I was really young, I used to go to Auto Italia all the time. And my dream car was a Fiat Coupe 20-valve turbo when I was really young.
Yeah.
And, it used to be the old typical, don't want a BMW. They're all twats. I don't want one. You know what it's like.
Agree.
And then I got and then I got the 6 Series when I was 19. That was my second car. And I sort of, became sort of known for owning this car. And a lot of people sort of either offered me parts or BMWs and stuff. And I just really got into them. And I became the guy that's, thought that everyone that had a BMW was a twat until you've actually got one and you're like, actually, they're really good.
Yeah.
And, and then I had E36s and E46s and stuff like that and just grew to sort of love them, really. But yeah, I think if it wasn't for the 6 Series, I'd probably still think that all BMW owners are twats. And
it's unexplainable, isn't it? It's until you jump into one, you just get it. You just understand why they are what they are.
Yeah.
And why there's a following there. Because I did the same. Because I was that thing of a similar thing, really. Not even been in one before, not really sort of had experience with him. It was actually Ben, who's my brother. He owned one at the time. I'm thinking, this is really good. This is a really good car. And then just went, same thing, went from there, really. So.
Yeah. There's just loads of things about them.
Yeah.
And they're good to drive. The seating position's great. They're great to work on. You get bits for them. There's just loads of stuff. There's something about them that I can't explain that I like trying loads of different cars. I don't like to think of myself as narrow-minded when it comes to cars. There's so many cars that I'd like to own. I'd really like a B7 RS4. I'd like a first-gen R8. My dream car is a 911, stuff like that. But I find myself trying them, and I always end back in a Porsche, in a BM.
Yeah.
There's just something about them. Even if I buy a car as a daily, I've had the odd Mercedes here and there, and I just find, it's a bit boring. I'll go back to a BMW.
That is the argument, Mercedes or BMW, isn't it? But
And, I once had a Passat as a daily, and it was great. It was a Passat Highline. It had every option on it. It had the sunroof, it had sat-nav, it had cruise control, heated leather seats, it had everything. It was a V6 diesel manual, quite a rare one.
Yeah. Which will go forever.
And everyone used to take the mickey out of me for it. All my mate, no, you don't suit that. When are you getting a beer? And I sold it and I bought the worst 330D ever. It was hanging. It had 200,000 miles on the clock. The arches were rotten. It was an SE. It was low spec. It was such a piece of crap. But I was like, back in a BM.
Yeah. It's still better.
Yeah.
No, we used to say the same thing about BMW. And then we all ended up having one, and they're brilliant. Don't get me wrong, some of the stuff that they make, especially nowadays, is questionable. But generally speaking, they're a good car.
Yeah,
really good car.
Yeah, they are good.
Yeah. And interesting you say 911, natural progression. BMW, a lot of people say, is you'll end up in a Porsche anyway, don't they? So,
I find a lot of people that are into BMWs also really like Renault Sports and Porsches.
Yeah.
It's like the little sort of group of cars. Whenever you go to the Nürburgring, it's BMWs, Renault Sports and Porsches. And it's all that same sort of group. Yeah.
So that's where the BMW sort of love come from. But where did it start with cars? What got you into cars originally?
I genuinely couldn't tell you. It's just something that I've always grown up with. You know, even as a child, I always had toy cars and little models and things like that. And when I was at school, I just always wanted to do something with cars. I was just obsessed, you know. It's not even a hobby or a passion, it's literally an obsession. It's something that I probably can't really explain. No. It's just always been there, that love for cars. But it's, again, for me, it's always been an obsession. It's not, you know, I actually said to myself, it was probably a couple of years ago actually, and I do think about it every now and again, I wonder when the last time I went a day without a car being part of my life. Whether it be driving one, thinking about one, ordering bits for one, looking at them, going on the internet and seeing them. When was that? Like I can't think of it. I genuinely can't think of it.
That actually opens my eyes as well. It is that mentality of every day is something about a car.
I sat at lunch the other day and my missus went, "Have you got anything else to say other than cars?" And I went, "Nope."
No. Even, you know, my best mate Henry, he you know, loves cars as well. He's well into them. Even him sometimes, he's like, "Do you talk about anything else other than cars?" It's like,
nope.
Do you know what? I don't actually. I don't. We can if you want to, but I'll get very bored.
All the weather's nice, isn't it?
So busy day.
It's all natural to talk about.
We've often talked about like when was the best era for cars, and obviously you speak to your dad or you speak to your parents or whatever, and they're like, "No, they were the better back in my day" or whatever. For us, it's sort of like the early 2010s, I suppose, all the way up to like the late
2018, 19.
Teens, where you've got that mix of any idiot could drive it. It's got all that power, but it's got the technology. It's the sweet spot, and then obviously everything since then has been crap. What about you? What's the sweet spot for you?
I would say pretty much the same. I do also really like 80s and 90s stuff. I really love cars from the 80s and 90s. You know, your 205 GTIs, your Renault 5 GT Turbo. Stuff was just cool. And I feel like even if you weren't into cars, you still liked them. Whereas now it's just, you know, an appliance as such. People, you know, if you're not into cars, there's nothing there. But apart from, you know, like, I really like the new Renault 5, the electric one, because it's all about the design of it, and it's just cool and funky, and it's something a bit different. And I think even if you're not into cars, you buy one because you're like, "Oh, I quite like that. It's quite interesting."
Well, as you say, the names for things now have been adopted into cars that look nothing like a Capri or a Mustang or where the 5 is pretty much sort of throwback to what the 5 was.
And I think that's why it's selling well, and it's very cool. But I would agree. 2010s, 2005 to 2010, something like that. Cars coming out with silly engines that shouldn't be in them, you know, like your Piech era Volkswagen stuff, and your E60 M5s and the E46 M3. I genuinely believe is one of the best cars ever made. I know BMW, whatever, blah blah. Get in one and drive one before you say anything. They are amazing things. I like cars that are retro, cool, interesting, but also very usable. I find myself selling cars that I don't see myself using that much, apart from obviously the 6 Series, but that's a bit different. Like my 205, for example, if I didn't feel comfortable driving that regularly, I'd probably sell it.
Right.
Like I had a classic Mini and fully restored it. It was really cool. Enjoyed building it. Didn't enjoy driving it, so I parted ways with it. And that's fine with me because I got the buzz from that car out of building it and doing it, and it was great fun. And
I think it's actually something that maybe that the TDC guys mentioned once, but I think the mentality is spot on. If you start to think about selling a car, that's the point you sell.
I
think that's you've thought about it, so you do it. And that's
unless you do something to it that's different that reignites that passion for it, or you do something with it like go on a road trip or whatever. You know, I've had cars before, I think, oh, I might sell this, and then I'll go on a road trip in it with my mates, build some great memories, and I think you know, I've got that attachment to it now. And then I think, okay, I want to do this to it now. And you know, that actually was a bit with the 540. There was a time where I thought about selling that car, and I actually messaged a mate of mine and said, you know, would you be interested in buying it? And then I took it to Paris in the summer with a group of my mates, and it was brilliant. It was such an awesome car. We got all of our stuff in it. You know, there was all 4 of us in it. And we just went to Paris. The weather was amazing. The car was really cool. It's got a valved exhaust. You know, there's a tunnel. As you drive into Paris, you drive under the runway.
Airport,
You know, it was valve open, flat out through the tunnel, V8 noises. Wow. And I was like, oh, I love this car.
How can you sell that now?
Yeah, and I always wanted to supercharge it. And I always sort of thought, you know, am I actually going to do it? Blah, blah. And then after that, I was like, no, I'm supercharging this now. This is a cool car. And then, you know, I actually did it. And for me, that is added to the 6 Series. I won't part ways with that now, because it's just that I love everything about it, and it's usable as well.
Yeah. It's funny what you said about the 80s and 90s. You think as well, when you think of that era, you think of a outrageous, everything specced into its 6 Series with like armchairs, or this super retro 205, little sports car. It's pretty much one or the other.
It's having that, you know, I like cars that are different, and you know, one day you go out in the 205 and it's just basic raw. You've got 4 wheels, a seat, and a set of ITBs that make loads of noise when you floor it. And there's just something about it. It's you know, as basic as driving gets, but it's really good. It's in a really, really good form. It's got a great chassis. The brakes are good. It's nice to drive if you just want to commute here in it. But at the same time, you know, you got a 1.9 16 valve with double the horsepower it came out the factory with. And the ITB singing away, and it's just, it's so, that car, when I drive it, it doesn't just make me smile, it makes me laugh. It genuinely makes me giggle. And, you know, I never even grew up in that era. I was after the 205 hype, and, you know, it's all the old boys that appreciate them now, but I can see why they love them. I really, really can.
It comes across in the last road trip you did with the 5, the Auto 206, and 205, and the Williams, wasn't it, the Clio? I think how you all felt driving those cars, especially when you swapped cars, as well. How, again, you know, you're surprised, but how good is this car? You know, and compared to yours, I think that really shone. How well it.
We actually all said, you know, off camera, it's one of the only road trips we've ever done where we all love each other's cars as much as our own. Because, you know, usually it's a bit of a like, oh, your car's rubbish. And, you know, there's always a bit of a, you know, a bit of tomfoolery, and you mess about and whatever. But actually, we all loved each other's cars. And, you know, driving the 205 and seeing the Renault 5 next to me and the Clio Williams in front of me, I was like, this is so cool. These are like such a cool generation of cars, and they're really interesting. And I feel like a lot of car makers tried to replicate it, like with the 208 GTI, they put that little bit from the 205 on the side, but they're never the same. They're never quite the same. So yeah, it's like, I feel like that was the golden era of hot hatches. And then you move along to, you know, 2005 onwards, and that's your golden era of like tech and engines. And, you know, you could go out and get an Audi Q7 with a V12 diesel in it. Why?
That's still crazy.
Because you can.
Ever existed. Has that ever tempted you, one of them?
Oh yeah, I'd love one. I'd love one. They're a bit too much for me. They're you know, 25 plus grand.
Right.
They're, you know, I haven't really got that kind of budget to spend on a Q7. But yet. But if one ever came up a bit shit or a bit written off or whatever, I'm straight on that. Yeah, I think they're so cool. So cool.
I mean, what a thing. I mean, like you said, that sort of time that where you literally could just buy a car with not just a supercar engine, but a diesel version of. It's just bonkers.
It's mad. And you know, I was saying the Touareg the other day. It's the sort of car that it doesn't make any sense. It's the sort of thing that, you know, a wife goes out to her husband and says, right, go out and buy a family car. Want something sensible for the kids. And they go to a dealership and they see it on the list, 5 litre, V10 diesel. I want that one. Why do you want that one? Don't care, I just want it.
You said family car. It is a family car. So
It's just, it's so cool. As I say, it's pointless. but I'm glad it exists.
But it's sad that that'll never be recreated again. We'll never see that.
Yeah,
again.
and I think that's why cars like that, although they were very sort of, just your sort of general car that wasn't really that interesting, has become really interesting, and I think always sort of will be, really, because that won't happen again.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe values will do one thing because of it.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
Until you're on your next journey and you are really trying just to get 20 miles per gallon out of it. Yeah.
Well, the Tuareg's all right. I can get 30 to the gallon out of that. You do have
That's
to be
good.
careful. The worst bit about it is the maintenance.
Yeah.
It's not. They're very durable. They're very, very reliable. But to work on, they're an absolute pain. Starter motor is engine out, turbo's engine out. Mine's got a little bit of an exhaust leak, and it sometimes, if I'm sitting in traffic and it's warm, it'll come into the cabin a bit. So I have to put it on recirc.
Nice.
And to fix it, of course, it's engine out. So it's fine for people like me that will at some point get it in here and take the engine out and do all the bits on it. But for people that have to take it to a specialist and pay them to do it, it can become really extortionate. And I can see why they got to a point where they're worth a couple of grand, because they are really expensive to look after.
Yeah, and as you say, send it to a specialist for 1 week for an exhaust leak. The next week, something else happened. Again, engine out. And before you know it, you're into not twice, double the amount that you paid for the car in the first place.
Yeah.
So,
and I can completely understand that if you're not into cars, that would become a pain.
Yes.
And it's just a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
Is there a job? Obviously, you like to fix everything you can by the sounds of it, but is there a job where you're just like, I'm not doing that? I will get somebody else to do that.
Yeah, I think there's bits on the M5 that I worry about, because I know that if I do something on that car and it goes wrong, then it's 10 grand straight away. You're throwing the engine away and you're putting a new engine in it or something like that. There's a lot of specialist tools that are required to work on it. It's very technical, but at the same time, I'm getting to a point now where I'm like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
I was at a point where I was thinking, I don't want to touch that because I'm worried. And now I'm like, I want to do it because it's a bit of a challenge. Yeah. So sort of, initially my mind would say, no, I don't want to do that. But then I think, if I've got the time and if the guys will allow me to put it in the unit and put it on the ramp and become really stressed for a few days, I would actually like to do it. So I've never been very good at bodywork.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I would really like to learn a bit more of. I have tried it. We have failed quite a few times.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
In fact, a certain Fiat Coupe 2012,
that looked like we'd painted it with melted down crayons by the time we'd finished with it. So I would, but again, like, instead of saying I don't want to do that, I want to learn more about bodywork and how to do it, and fabrication, and putting a car on a jig and how it all works. I find it really interesting. So there used to be a time where I think, no, don't want to do that, and now I'm like, I want the challenge. So I'm feeling more ambitious as time goes on.
Do you meet any, because we often, obviously we're in the industry in the sense of we're not so much cars, but in heavy goods vehicles, we visit a lot of workshops and you don't see many youngsters around. Do you get many youngsters come to you asking you for advice, or how do you see the next generation coming through? Do you see many people tinkering?
Quite a bit. Not as much, because as cars are evolving, they're getting harder to work on. It's all very, this car's locked and you need to take it to a dealer, or they're becoming a bit hard in that sense. But I find there are a lot of younger people that are into older cars and ask for advice, and they just give it a go, which I always admire. I always admire it when you think, because I was at that point in life where I had my 6 Series in a little council lockup, and I'd go down there on a weekend when the weather was a bit rubbish, and I'd squeeze down the side of it and jack it up with a little Halfords trolley jack. Yeah. And I'd work on it, and I wouldn't always know what I'm doing, but I'd give it a go, or I'd YouTube it, or I'd Google it, or whatever, and just do it. Yeah. So
nice.
I always admire that.
On the BMW, obviously you got it for 25 quid, spent a load of money on, a load of time on it, and it's stunning, by the way.
Thank you.
It's your best one, I feel.
Thank you.
Any idea what those that would be worth now? Have you ever looked at that?
They're not worth a massive amount yet. They do tend to go up every year.
Yeah.
For me, it's more the sort of sentimental value that's worth more than anything. I think insurance is valued at about 50 grand or something like that. If I was to actually sell it, it's probably worth about 30, something like that, I would say.
Yeah.
Like just as a car. But for me, it's more of the value of, you know, the memories and the sentimentalness and the fact that, you know, I use it as a career makes it worth more because, you know, I film videos with it and stuff like that. And I do have a few more plans with it and, you know, want to change bits and bobs on it. But yeah, value with that car is never something I've ever cared about because I'll never part with it. So I don't see the point. It's actually a bit annoying because the more it becomes worth, the more desirable it is to be nicked. So
true. Yeah.
So I don't actually care about it.
No, it's not worth anything.
Yeah,
it's not worth anything.
I actually saw. I'd never thought about that car getting nicked. I always sort of had it. You know, I've always been very protective over it. I always block it in, and it's right in a corner. It's a nightmare because if I want to drive it, I have to move about 5 cars to get it out of the way and take a cover off of it and all that. But I saw recently that Chris Harris's E28 got nicked.
Yes.
And it has made me a bit paranoid because I always thought no one's ever going to nick a car like that. It's so distinctive. It'd be silly to do that. And I saw that happen and it was a bit of an eye opener for me. And I thought, you know, maybe I should get some kind of tracker put on it or an immobilizer or something like that. So I have actually put a tracker in it since because I'm a bit paranoid about it, you know, especially if I'm out driving it and I park it on a street somewhere.
Road
gets
trips
pinched.
and things.
Yeah.
So someone might not necessarily know the car if they don't watch the channel. And then they might think, oh, yeah, go on. And then realise actually, as Chris, I think there was a story with Chris Harris's car. I didn't think they realised whose car it actually was until when it was nicked. And then obviously the heat of social media, I think it made it a bit.
Well, I mean,
I hate the phrase, but a bit hot to handle.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you nick that car and then you saw it on social media and you're like, oh my God, whose car is it? we need to put this somewhere. I don't want this anymore.
I'll be back, please.
So that in itself is probably actually a bit of security as when a car like that is quite well known. It gets shared about quite a lot. But as I say, value, and with the 540 as well, you know, I'm not really that fussed about it anymore because I don't plan on selling it. So, you know, I hate selling cars. I love buying them and I love fixing them. I get so stupidly emotionally attached, and there's even quite a few car enthusiasts don't really get that. It's so silly. Me and Alex both share the same thing. You know, we look at a car as if it has a character and a personality, and it sounds really sad, but it's something I've always sort of gone by. Rory doesn't really have it. He doesn't understand it so much. You know, when we got cars that are sat out in the paddock that we're sort of done with and they're not worth anything and it's a bit of a liability for us to sell it because there's a few mechanical issues, and he'll go, just scrap that. And it's literally not worth anything. And I go, oh, I can't bring my... We'll just let it sit there. And me and Alex are the same. So we get a paddock of cars out
car
there,
hoarder.
And they're so shit and they're just... A lot of them are dilapidated, but we can't bring ourselves to throw it away.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so silly, and it is a pain sometimes because it gets to a point where you got quite a lot of them, but I'm like, I don't want to get rid of them.
We Charlotte and Shanice were mentioning the whiteboard over there, the list of shit cars. Which, to be fair, is actually all rubbed off, but I'm sure there'll be plenty to go on there.
Yeah, that was... I actually rubbed that off, I think, last week or so, and it was a list of... cars that all needed MOTing or fixing or whatever, and it got to a point where they wouldn't all fit on there, so it was just half of them, and then we'd forget that there'd be a load more, so we just sort of rubbed it off, start fresh.
Forget about it.
And then there was a list. I thought I'll be organised, and we were doing a build, and I put all the list of bits on that whiteboard over there. And then we did that build. I think we've done 3 builds since, and I haven't changed.
Still there,
the organisation only happened for a day or so, and then it disappeared.
Now, Talkin Shop wouldn't be possible without our title sponsor, Eclipse Diagnostics. If you work on commercial vehicles, vessels, or machinery, you need Jaltest, the UK's leading multi-brand diagnostic tool from Eclipse. Plug it in, run a scan, and you'll get the OEM fault code, the components linked to the issue, and a clear step-by-step guide to fix it. No head scratching, just results. And it's not limited to 1 or 2 brands. Jaltest covers all manufacturers and models. So whatever rolls, sails, or shows up at your door, you're covered. It also goes beyond diagnostics with dealer-level functionality, ECU programming, calibrations, DPF regens, and loads more. Plus a huge library of wiring diagrams, repair manuals, and OEM technical data, tightening torques, reference measurements, the lot. So you can get the job done right first time. With Eclipse, you're backed by world-class technical support when you need it most. Inquire today and quote code Talkin Shop to get a free cable saver with your diagnostic order. Training at your premises also included. Thanks, Eclipse. Now back to the show. So you've been YouTubing now a couple of years.
Yes.
Couple of years. Because we can share the same of being behind the camera. At first, it's weird. Even still, we're like complete awkward weirdos and we've been doing it. But have you got a piece of advice, now knowing what you know? You've said you've learned so much in those 2 years. Do you have a piece of advice for your younger self?
I would say stick to doing what you want to do. I really enjoy doing this because we do stuff that I like doing, and it's always something that when I set up my own channel, it's mainly because there's loads of stuff that I personally want to do, whether it be fixing a V10 Touareg or modifying an M5 or whatever. I always find that I'm more natural and comfortable and enjoy it a lot more when I'm doing something that I actually want to do, not for something that I think, oh, that will get good views or that will, explode on the internet. I've never really thought about that.
No.
I just do stuff that I find really interesting and enjoy. And I find that's when you put the most amount of passion and interest into it.
Good answer.
Just be natural and just, it's a bit hard to say, forget the camera's there. A lot of the time it helps because, Rory's on the other side of the camera with me and I get along with Rory really well and we have a laugh and I do sort of forget it's there and, we just act natural and mess about with cars. But yeah, that's, I never intended to get into this. I was very much the same, awkward with cameras, didn't like taking selfies or pictures or anything like that. And just sort of became very comfortable with it over time.
Yeah.
And I have got used to the sound of my own voice.
Right.
Because that was something I couldn't bear at first. Alex would watch her and edit and I'm like, I can't listen to this. It just keeps replaying it and it's got my voice in it. But no, I'm a bit used to it now. So.
Yeah. Have you had a bit of a pig of a project yet? Have you had one that's just not gone?
Yeah, we've had quite a few. The Renault 5 Turbo was a bit of a pain. And it did come across in that video that I'd bodged a lot of things, and that's because I had. Because I do like to do things properly, and I do like to do them to a good standard. But sometimes, especially with that car, we're on a real time restraint. Yeah. And Rory has this thing of we work well under pressure. I disagree with him because it stresses me out mainly. But when we do work under a time restraint and under pressure, we do get stuff done. I'm always willing to put in the hours and weekends or whatever I need to do to get a car on a road trip. That car in particular just kept throwing curveballs. We initially bought it and we thought, it will need a general recommission, suspension, service, fresh fuel in it. It should be fine. Turned out the ECU was knackered, the wiring was knackered, and I did the timing and I messed up the timing belt and everyone took the mickey out of me for it. And, and then it had oil leaks and it had a fuel leak as well when we got it going. And it was just a bit of a pig.
Yeah,
but
one thing after another.
Yeah, and there's been a few more. I can't really think of many off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Well, just put that in perspective. We were here last time and that car was on that ramp.
Yeah.
And it was in bits. And you said to me, yeah, next Monday it's going to Monaco.
Yeah, and if you remember right, the Clio was here with the engine on the floor. Yeah. And I was trying to do sort of both at the same time and I was so stressed.
Yeah. I mean,
really. You didn't come across it, to be fair, so good for you.
You did pretty well, yeah.
I tried, yeah. I think it got to the point where I was like, well, it is what it is. I can't really care anymore.
I think that's what you've got to do sometimes.
Yeah. But whenever it is a pig of a job, it's always rewarding getting it done.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much I hate the car at the time. I always get to that point where I'm like, I hate this car. I don't want to work on it. It's so rubbish. I hate it. I'm fed up with it. And then you persevere and you do it and you get it done. It's always rewarding.
Yeah.
Always rewarding. Especially seeing that car in Monaco. Yeah. Even if it did overheat slightly, Tom Lenthal sat in it, sweating to bits with steam coming out of the bonnet. I'm still like, it's here. It's
made it.
It's cool, yeah. So
I think that was, definitely from the viewer's perspective, but when you're watching that video with those three cars that finally made it there, I think you thought, that's a really proud moment, really. To see what they've been through.
I think it was relief.
Proud and relief. Yeah.
It's like, I'm done now.
That's it.
Yeah, but I do tend to have quite bad luck when it comes to cars because, I'm the one that works on them and prepares them. And I tend to find that, you know, I'll sort out all the cars, and it's always me that breaks down on the. And it's, to be fair, it's. I'm going to jinx myself.
Don't do it.
It's stopped happening recently. So the 205, pretty faultless on the trip, and we recently did a dream car road trip where I took the 6 Series on my first ever European road trip, and that sounds like someone's drilling something outside.
I thought some birds. I was going to say, this is the wrong time of year for them.
No, someone's drilling without using WD-40, I'd say. And the 6 Series was faultless.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. So before that, it was just every single time I broke down, and it was usually catastrophic. You know, the engine blew up on the way to the Nürburgring, on the Autobahn. I was doing 140 mile an hour and blew it up. And I spent, you know, Alex bought me a new engine, and I spent a whole day putting the engine in. And to be fair, by the end of it, I'd got it done, and Misha took me out for a lap in it. It's the most terrifying motoring moment of my life. You know, 20 minutes prior, I'd got this engine running for the first time, and it hadn't been run in 2.5 years or whatever it was. It'd been sat in a shed. And, you know, he's taken me around. He's got no mechanical sympathy, Misha. He's flat. You know, when he's in that car, he's flat out.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd literally just put the engine in it, and I was just sat there covered in crap, just staring at the temperature gauge like, please don't overheat.
It's not even had a heat cycle at this point. It's actually started on the Nürburgring.
That was the first heat cycle, and it still had a bit of air in the clutch, and he couldn't get it into gear, and we're going around, and he's like one hand on the wheel feathering it while it's sliding towards a curb, trying to ram it in gear, and I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah. He really trusted your mechanical knowledge there.
Yeah. And we got to the end of that lap, and everyone was cheering over the walkie-talkie and everything. That was probably one of the most memorable moments of my, you know, car-related life.
Yeah.
Which again is why I have such an attachment to that car. But yeah, prior to that, you know, I had a Z3 that was supercharged. Took that to Nürburgring, that broke. Luckily, again, managed to fix it. I did an off-roading trip with an X-Trail that broke down. I took the Mini to Wales, that broke down in Wales. I reversed, I think it was up a hill or down a hill in Wales. I can't even remember why. I think we were getting some shots and it just overheated in reverse. And yeah, just every single time we've done a road trip, and it's a funny thing. So I said earlier that sometimes AutoAlex buys cars, and I personally buy cars. And if it's ever a personally owned car, it always blows up.
Brilliant.
Whereas even if it's my car on the road trip, but AutoAlex owns it, it's always faultless.
Yeah.
Typical.
It's the first road trip we ever did where I didn't break down was our unreliable road trip.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Where we bought the most unreliable cars we could find. I bought an Alfa Romeo Brera V6 for £1,000 out of a scrapyard.
Unreliable.
And it was hanging. Like, this thing was.
Remember that?
The guy, he'd broken it for parts, and I asked him to put it back together so I could buy it. And you know, the timing chain was a little bit rattly, and it was in limp mode, and it was just. I put it as back together as I could. You know, I've got it, and all the bolts were loose and hanging out of the suspension, and there was bits missing. It was such a pile of crap. And we put it back together, and I put some new bolts in it, and you know, we did a few bits to it. I don't even think I changed the oil on that car. I might have done. And we drove it all the way to Scotland and all the way back, and I sold it to a mate. And he drove it for 1.5 years, and it never broke down.
Wow.
And I was like, it's literally typical. The only time I buy a reliable car, and it's on the unreliable car road trip. And the only thing that went wrong on that road trip was Rory had a Range Rover P38 and the wipers stopped working.
Oh, brilliant.
And that was it.
Yeah.
You couldn't write
So
it.
yeah, it's quite funny. I have this sort of bad luck thing.
Was it one where forgive me, was it you were going to take the 6 Series? And didn't you fit throttle bodies to it that night or something? And it just wasn't happening, was it?
So that was actually the beginning of the story. So we were doing the Poland road trip to Ultra.
Yes, that was it.
And I sort of knew about this road trip, but I don't think at the time it was fully set in stone when I started the ITBs on the 6 Series. So I put the 6 Series on throttle bodies. Something I always wanted to do, dreamt about it for ages, pulled the trigger, bought the kit, fitted it, and then I had to get it wired in and, you know, and all that. And we just kept having problem after problem with it. And then the road trip sort of came up, and I tried to rush it together, and we got it running, and it had loads of problems, and it broke down like when the day we were supposed to be leaving and all that. and it just didn't work out. I was doing so many late. I was up until like 7 o'clock in the morning every day trying to get this car to go, and we just couldn't do it. And it's the first and only time I've ever given up, and I gave up with it. And I was really, really upset, really down about it. And Rory called me one night, and he said, get a flight out and we'll meet you out there. And I was, really stubborn and bitter about it because they were all taking the mickey out of me. And I was like, no, I don't want to come. No, I'm not doing it. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. And I was, I was really, really upset. I really took it personally. And then I saw they were all having a laugh on social media and this, that, and the other. And I thought, I'm going to take my 540i and I'm going to meet them out there. I'm going to surprise them. And I'm just going to drive out one night. I'm going to do an all-nighter. So I got in it and I drove to Calais. No, I got the Eurotunnel. No, I didn't. I got the ferry because I was too tight to pay for the Eurotunnel. Got the ferry over, got into France, started driving, and, I was going to do it one way, all the way. They were just outside of Poland at this point. I'm going to get it all the way there and I'll meet them tonight. I'll be there by, 11 o'clock tonight, whatever it is. Well, I got a couple of hours into Belgium and the bloody wheel fell off.
You literally could not write
and
that.
I thought, I don't need this. Now, I'd done between 500 to 1,000 miles in that car and it was fine.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really had, I can't remember the last time I had the wheels off of it. And the bloody wheel fell off. And I was like,
did you make any content on that?
Yeah.
I just got a little bit on my phone. That was it.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Someone was telling you, just don't go to Poland.
There was something saying, don't go to Poland.
Yeah.
I very much believe in everything happens for a reason. And there was something, at that point, I was like,
You're not going to be there.
I'm done now. Yeah. And, the caliper went through the wheel and I didn't, I can't remember what it was. I didn't have the wheel brace, I don't think, was a different size or something like that. Anyway, I managed to get the wheel off. And I put the spare on. The spare was pretty much flat. It had like 5 PSI in it. So I limped it off to a petrol station, pumped the tyre up, I drove home. I got really upset. I did cry in the petrol station.
Yeah.
I
Do you know what? It would lead you to that after the amount of stress you've had prior to it, and just thinking, right, I'm going regardless.
Yeah.
I think any person would do the same thing.
Yeah. I was so upset. And I love that car. And the fact that it'd been a bit damaged and it was all right. It was mainly just, I sort of chipped the wheel arch a little bit and wrecked the wheel. But yeah, I took it very personally and I got into the petrol station, had a little cry and I drove home.
That was that.
Do you know what? One of the questions we wanted to ask was, is there a hilarious moment that sort of, for everyone else, that didn't quite make the cut? And I suppose it is that one, unless you've got another one.
Do you know what? There's loads. There's so many. A lot of the time before we didn't, so we have a little vlog camera now and we film as much as possible and it adds a very personal perspective to our road trips. Whereas before we'd only film, certain bits and it would be, more cinematic and we'd film like the intros, the outros, the driving bits and that was it. So we find that a lot more now you sort of get to know that we do mess around quite a lot on our road trips and, I don't know if you watched the recent trip to Croatia, but fart on each other's heads.
that was absolutely gold. I think you just couldn't,
Yeah, and jump on inflatable unicorns in the sea at night while trying to go out for dinner and, silly things like that. And I've got quite a bad memory, but if I dig back and look through the pictures on my phone, there's so many funny times that we've had that we just didn't quite capture.
Yeah. But that's, as you say, sometimes when you're filming, you can't capture that. It's the stuff that happens when you're not rolling. You think, I wish I would have had that on the camera. So obviously now with that vlog camera, it's stuff that you probably will catch because you're always filming.
Yeah. There's a count. I mean, we do have a real genuine bond, all of us, even the videographers and the editors and stuff. We all get along and we have a right laugh. So it whenever we go away, it ends up being a right laugh because there's so much tomfoolery and we generally do muck about a lot.
Well, it does come across. I think a lot of people say the reason back in the day Top Gear was so successful is because those three, no matter what they did, they had that chemistry. I think a lot of people compare it now to you guys where you've just got that way of dealing with each other and just the way you get on and stuff, and then that's why people watch enjoy road trips. It's
very similar. It is very similar. And on that note as well, that for me, growing up with Top Gear and wheeler dealers and stuff like that was always the dream. So going out and actually doing it and spending, going to amazing places in amazing cars with people that you genuinely get along with and mess about with and have a laugh with and are very close with. It is like Top Gear. And I have to genuinely pinch myself sometimes, especially driving through Switzerland in a little 205 with the pan roof open, looking at all the mountains, taking the mick out of each other and farting on each other.
I think one of the podcasts recently where you sound clipped it. I think it's just hilarious.
Yeah. Rory put it on the soundboard. And that was the whole trip. So every single time we went to either a restaurant or a hotel reception, Mike, our editor, had already edited together a little clip of Tom farting on Alex's head, and we'd play it full blast wherever we went. We'd get to a hotel at 12 o'clock at night or whatever it is, and we'd all be standing there really like, I can't wait to go to bed, just really tired, just very lethargic. And one of us would get our phone out, full blast, and it'd be, oh my God. And we all just start laughing in the hotel reception. And you'd have a French guy behind the counter or whatever just going, we've got Brits abroad here, like riff raff. Here we go. He's not going to cause trouble.
No.
And it was everywhere, sitting in Venice in a really nice Italian restaurant on the site, you got the boats going past and it's, oh my God. It's so funny,
That's something you'll never forget.
That really set the tone for the trip.
It did,
that guff,
I think watching people, not only you guys in hysterics, but I think everybody else on the outs, just on the ship, just thought, what the hell's going on there?
Yeah.
Just
Break. We caused such a commotion in that shop. Tom gaffed, and then we were almost on the floor. I was in tears.
I saw.
And it was, you forget how loud it is, like all the laughing and everything. And you sort of stop laughing, and everyone's looking at you in the shop, and you're like, I'm going to get kicked out in a minute. But that's what it's like most places we go. It's just so funny, and it's nice to have that bond, even with Tom Lenthal. He's a 50-odd-year-old bloke, and we get along so well with him. We have such, because he's like us, really. Like he's
big kid.
Big kid. In that sort of sense, it's just a laugh. It's a right laugh.
Yeah, it comes across. Definitely. Yeah. You are living the dream.
It is, and I'm very, very grateful for it as well. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't come without its stresses. It's not all plain sailing. Stuff goes wrong, and cars are a pain, and it's stressful, and organising it all and making sure everything's on schedule and correct, and parts are arranged and everything. It's day to day, it can be really stressful, but it's incredibly rewarding, and it is like living the dream.
Nice.
So it's definitely enjoyable, and something I never expected to be in either.
If you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
Also have a lot of stress.
A lot of bad luck. Dealing with Rory and Alex on a day-to-day basis, it's a nightmare. No, I love them to bits. Genuinely love them to bits.
Good.
Yeah.
And they are genuinely my best mates. Like we go around each other's houses and we have barbecues, and there's a very genuine bond there. So I'm very grateful to have that as well.
Good. Other than people putting spoilers and body race kits on Teslas, how do you see the evolution of like the car community now?
And that's a bit hard to say. I do think it's a bit unpredictable. I would like to think that people would still stay with, and have that enthusiasm for older cars. I do worry that will fade away, and it will become more difficult because, as much as people are moving into electric cars and stuff like that, and I can genuinely see why, I'm not against it. I just hope they don't take away that, enthusiasm to be able to own older cars. I don't think they will, but I hope that's not the case. I would like to see people modifying electric cars and doing something to them and having that enthusiasm there. And because I do think that there's a real stigma at the moment that they're very uncool. And I do agree with that to a point.
A lot of them are really.
They are really uncool.
A lot of them are quite cool. We often see the odd one. Like you mentioned the new Renault. We like the Taycan. The look of the Taycan. Every time I see one, like, damn it.
Do you want to make the Taycan better? A 4-litre V8.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the Panamera, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But we get this purpose for it.
I can see why, people buy them. I really can. You've got no maintenance. You don't have to worry about servicing it. You know, you don't have a long commute, so you can just plug it in at home. It's a great idea. It doesn't work for everyone, but it is a great idea. I don't really like the pressure around the government forcing everyone to own one, because they're not suitable for everyone, realistically. I actually said the other day, it'd be really nice if the government were to allow, instead of banning the sale of petrol and diesel only cars, it would be nice for them to do a scheme like they did before, which is why the Aston Martin Signet exists, where a manufacturer has a certain carbon footprint and then they're allowed to have a bit of a mess around from time to time and create a really cool petrol or diesel only car. But yeah, going back to it, where do I see it going? I don't fully know. It is a bit unpredictable, but I would like to see the enthusiasm staying there, whether it be with older cars or electric cars.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I like to think I'm not narrow-minded. I appreciate electric cars. Be cool to see people enthusiastic about them and enjoying them, even if they are a bit uncool.
Good answer.
Yeah,
Good
absolutely.
answer. Yeah.
Is there one modification or a trend people do to the cars that you think,
Great question.
I don't like that?
4D number plate.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can't stand them.
No,
Brilliant.
no.
I really... Or do you know when people take their number plates off of the plinth where it's supposed to sit on the front and they'll put it in the grill?
Yes.
And you just think, why have you done that? That is...
literally.
Yeah.
I think my two pet peeves are 4D number plates and tinted lights.
Yeah.
I thought you were
Because-
saying
I'm with you on
tinted
that
plates, but no, tinted lights. Yeah.
Tinted light. And
Yeah.
because you just... I don't know if you see sometimes a car, like a really nice car with 4D plates and tinted lights, and you think that would be a really nice car if it was standard.
Yeah.
It'd be really, really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're my main pet peeve. Obviously, I don't really like massive diffuse F1 brake lights.
There we go.
Oh,
Hit
my
the nail on
word.
the head. That's the, yeah.
I don't think I've seen these.
I can't be doing with F1 brake
So,
lights.
yeah, people are fitting F1 brake lights to their 1 litre
Oh,
Corsa.
like the
Yeah.
the one glowing
The
thing in the middle.
flashing,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I was driving on the M25 the other day, as I do every day, and there was a Mark 6 Golf 1.4 TSI in front of me. And it had a rear diffuser with an LED, you know, Formula One brake light in the middle of it. And every time he touched the brakes, it was like flashing really fast. And I was like, this thing's going to give me an X-ray. It's so bright.
Literally.
And I just thought, why have
Someone's
you done
being
that?
on Temu.
Yeah, literally. Just please take... It'd be a lovely car if you just took that off.
Exactly.
And I think it portrays a bit of a bad image because whenever you see 4D plates or tinted lights, you can guarantee they're on the M25 undertaking, going faster than they should be, driving like a bit of an arse. And it just gives a bit of a bad stigma.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I've got a new pet hate. I think you'll like this one. Number plates that look like they're melting. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
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 Honestly, I can't even explain it to you. It's like, imagine if you got
People
a
are bored.
blowtorch on a plate and it was melting at the bottom.
Right.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
There's those, and then there's new ones now where they're like, the letters are 4D raised, but they're like diamond shaped. And they look like, the only way to describe them is front door numbers. You know the numbers you get on the front
Yes.
door?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
It's
just...
ribbed.
Yeah, literally.
Rib
Or you
plate.
get the ones where the edges of the number plate are like cut, like the Lamborghini ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you just think, leave the number plate alone.
Yeah.
Just leave it.
Yeah,
Just
that's it.
don't touch it. It's
I know what
lovely
you
as it
mean.
is.
I totally
And it
agree.
is always a Lambo as well, actually. It's always like a Huracan. I don't know why. That's the car I see it with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, BMW owners are adopting them.
Oh, they're a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, they're a nightmare.
I know.
Yeah.
I've
And
seen them and gone, stop.
you know when you see like a 318D, and you know it's 318D because it's got a single
The one
exhaust
pipe,
tip,
yeah.
but it's got the M3 mirror caps on it with the little bits that come out, and you just think, take them off.
But don't do
Just
it.
take them off. I actually bought my 330D I bought that recently off a very good mate of mine, and when I got it, it had tinted front windows and carbon fibre mirrors, and the rest of it looks really nice.
Yeah.
I thought that's coming off immediately. All coming off.
Sort of equivalent.
Yeah, and it's got a factory M Sport kit on it, which
Yeah.
is a bit chavvy, but I kind of like it because for a long time I've driven around in old man cars like estates or the Twos, bit an old man. I thought I want to live my youth a bit. I want something a bit chavvy.
Yeah.
I thought I want something a bit of a younger person's car.
Yeah.
So it's a saloon. It's not an estate. I thought, I want to be a bit trendy for once. And I bought it, and I thought I'm going to leave the M Sport kit on it. I'm going to put chrome grills back in it because it had black grills in it, and
Good
it
shout.
did kind of match. I thought, nah, it's not me.
Yeah.
So I put my old man grills in it. I've taken all the tints off. I've put normal white mirror caps back on it.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, they're my main pet peeves. I can't stand all that. Yeah, just chuck it all in the bin.
Like everyone's got a taste. I understand. Like everyone's got their own little thing what they do, but there are certain things you just go no. That looks crap.
I quite like the idea, like you say, of making your car unique. I quite like that. If you're going to go and do that, then but it's when they do, start to
But do
put
you know
an M
what?
badge on a Tesla.
Yeah. But you know what? Everyone's got their own tastes.
Yeah.
And if you want to do it, then do it.
Go ahead and do
It's
it.
just not to my taste.
No.
I must say though, those pet peeves. My mate Joe is a car dealer, and he sometimes takes cars in as a Part X that have got bits like that on it, and I love pulling it all off.
Yeah.
He bought a Golf the other day with a Maxton kit on it, and we just it's like a 350 quid kit.
Yeah.
And it would have looked really like diamond cut wheels, lovely car without it, but when it's just a bit
Too
chavvy.
much.
Yeah.
So we took it all off and just threw it all in the bin.
Yeah.
And it was really satisfying.
Satisfying. Yeah. Don't sell it, just bin it.
Yeah.
So there was a bit of a trend. I think it's probably dying out again now, hence why we're seeing all these mad trends. But there was this like, leave it OEM. Leave it OEM. It looks cool OEM.
Yeah. I must say though, as a car enthusiast, it is hard to leave a car alone.
Yeah.
Because you get it, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And it's just, sometimes I do have to think, just leave.
Stop.
It.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah. What you need is an inability to do anything.
Yeah.
Me.
Like fit a number plate. Then you can't.
Yeah.
Or you go the opposite way.
You pay a man.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So
Guilty.
is there now we've touched old cars, so we're gonna have to move you away from those. You
Are
probably
you
might
sure?
Like it. Yeah.
I'm not very good at talking about anything other than cars.
But is there a manufacturer at the minute that you think is doing everything right, and is the one that you think's getting it all wrong?
That is a good question. That is a very good question, actually. I think Renault are doing very well with going back to the Renault 5 because I think it's hard to make a new electric car trendy and interesting. I do think they're very good, but it's hard to make them interesting. A lot of them look very generic and boring and plastic, and it is hard to get something that stands out in a good way, because some of them really do stand out in a bad way. Like there's some bright orange MGs that I've seen that are very questionable, or a funky cat, which I look at and I want to heave. But I think Renault are doing it right. And I'd like to see more of that retro, cool, funky, interesting design. People like design and fashion and art and stuff like that, and to put it in a good way into a car, I think that works.
Yeah, agreed.
At the moment, I feel like I don't like hating on them all the time. I do feel like Jaguar Land Rover have messed up a bit. The whole Ingenium thing, I think, is really bad. And, a lot of people have suffered as a result with extensive maintenance cost and having to rebuild their engines and their timing chains and this, that and the other. And I do think their build quality is it's really subpar at the moment. But at the same time, they make some great cars like the new Defender.
The
new Defender's great.
Mega.
Absolutely love it. They're really cool. The new Range Rover, what a bit of kit. But yeah, I do think they need to step up their game. They need to pull their socks up a bit and get rid of that notorious Land Rover unreliability. They need to get rid of that stigma. They need to shake it off.
And they are mega. You see them everywhere. It's because they are amazing. But
they're the best but the worst at the same time.
I totally agree. You're absolutely spot on.
I would really, really like to see Land Rover step up their game a bit. I'd no idea what Jaguar's doing at the moment. I still don't really. I'm very confused by them. They seem to have just sort of disappeared off the face of the earth and then pop up on social media every now and again, as far as I'm aware. So that's a bit strange. Other than that, you caught me off guard a bit with that one.
So I think the answer's on the Renault, because I saw a couple of them recently and I thought, oh, they're nice. Electric cars don't tickle my fancy, shall we say? That car.
But as a thing, it looks. They've done a good job in bringing back that heritage. Really.
I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see. It sounds a bit funky, but I'd like to see a reimagination of the Espace.
Yeah.
Like the I thought they were really cool back in the day when the Espace had those vents up the front, up the wing mirrors, and they were a bit wedge shaped, a bit weird, but I think they're quite cool now.
Just go mad. That's what we want. We want someone to go completely bonkers in a good way.
I'd love to see like the sort of Renault 5, but the reimagined version of an Espace.
That's a
something
really
like
good
that.
thought.
And I
Actually,
think it would be quite cool to see that.
You know, like you see Singer with Porsche. Imagine if somebody did that with BMWs. Oh,
Yeah, that would be nice.
It would, wouldn't it?
Or in a Espace.
Yeah.
Or an Espace. Yeah.
Or an Austin Princess.
That's
That
come
would
on,
be
get
nice.
real, really. Come on. But they kind of did that back in the day with the Aventine. Was it the Aventine?
Oh, the Aventine was great, yeah.
Three-door Espace, wasn't it, really? But that was still back in the day, really. So to bring that back now would be
It'd
pretty
be
cool.
really cool.
Yeah.
I think stuff like that that car doesn't really make sense because it's like a 2-door sort of, it doesn't really know what
It's
it
a
is.
2-door people carrier.
Yeah, a bit weird. But I think something like that today would just be really, if car makers did stuff like that, it'd be really interesting.
It would. And people would buy them because it's different.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I find Ford is a bit meh at the moment.
Yeah.
Like they don't make the
I hear you on
Fiesta anymore. I was a bit sad by that because I like a Fiesta.
Yeah.
They're good cars. They always have been. They stopped doing that and they make the Capri and the Puma.
Yeah.
I find Ford's really boring at the moment.
Yeah.
Really, really boring. You know, the Mustang they've dragged out for ages, and some of them are all right, but they're very meh.
Yeah.
They're just very meh.
Yeah. Well, they don't.
Everyone's-
Sorry. Yeah.
No, all the manufacturers now, they're just making those crossovers, the Nissan Dukes, the Ford Pumas, and they're everywhere.
They are everywhere.
They're clearly selling, so they're going to make more of them, but just wish people would.
Yeah.
And I do have one myself, but I wish people would go away from SUVs and crossovers and maybe just go back to a saloon or an estate, or just go and get
Nothing
something
wrong
else.
with an estate car.
Yeah.
You can get the same amount in an estate car to what you can get in
Yeah.
a good size, I'd say, SUV.
Yeah.
So absolutely. But
Yeah.
with Ford, it proves it. They're not making anything RS related these days. Oh, the RS brand is stopped.
That's a bit sad.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit
It is
sad.
because I grew up with 2009, 2010 Focus RSs on my wall, big green,
Yeah.
monster, nothing like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine a modern looking Focus RS now.
Yeah.
Stick something outrageous
Be
in
quite
it.
cool,
yeah.
yeah.
They can do it.
Yeah,
They
even
can
if
do
it was a hybrid, I still think people would buy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well, even the very last of the Focus STs, they're a good car.
Yeah.
They're a cool car.
You almost bought an RS, didn't you?
Yeah,
Almost did
long
it.
story. Yeah. But it was. I think in my head, I was still that car was new. I went to
Yes.
see it and I thought,
Yeah.
Problem.
they've gone to that where someone's had it, they've ruined it, they've tried to put it back together again. They're selling it for more than it was new. It's just not.
Yeah,
no,
they
it's
do. Yeah.
Not
they
the
do
same.
get like that.
And it was bright green. Every single panel was a different type of green. I'm like, that's it. So
Yeah. I do also worry a little bit that, the Chinese are going to take over a bit with their
Stuff.
cars. And again, they might be good. I find them really, really uninteresting. And the design I just find a bit awful with a lot of them. They do look quite terrible.
even the slogan, I'm sorry, but build your dreams. If my dreams look like that, I've done something very wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a dream, that's a nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you see car makers like Ford become a bit boring and, Land Rover sort of stepping off a little bit, with their reliability. And they're sort of firing straight at the UK car market. And I can see why they're succeeding because their stuff is cheap and good.
Yeah. What's
But-
the one that looks like an Evoque? Like it looks like they've gone, draw a picture of an Evoque and they've made it. And if you look at it at the right angles, it kind of, is it a Jayco or something? I can't remember the actual brand.
Yeah,
but
I'll be honest, they all look the same.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's the first time I'm now driving past a car and going, what's that? Like, I don't say I know every single car, but I would like to think, I know majority of them, and I drive past them in these cars and I'm like, a what?
Yeah.
A seal what? An over seal what?
Yeah.
BYD what?
Me and my mate have a bit of a funny game. Whenever we go out and, we're walking through a car park, we see a big line of cars and he'll go, right, you got to have one of them, you get one free, what one are you having? And I always look and I go,
I do that.
I don't want any of it.
Yeah.
It's all plastic.
Yeah.
I don't want any
Oh,
of
I
it.
know.
Stick with the 6 Series.
But who can afford now to walk into a new showroom of a BMW or a Porsche or even Mercedes and go and buy some of these brand new cars now?
They are a lot.
Yeah. Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, mega expensive.
are a
What are we
lot.
talking about? The Golf R, like great car.
The Golf R is now a £50,000 car.
That is unbelievable.
I know.
I think the one that gets me is the RS3 because it's like a 70, 80 grand car
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
just think, why?
I know.
Yeah.
That is, it's not worth that.
No, it's not.
No. They're on
agreed.
about putting the 5-cylinder into a special edition Golf R, which I just know is going to be a £70,000 car.
Yeah.
That'd be quite cool.
Oh,
but
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the principle is fantastic, but yeah, it's just unless that's until that's 10 years old.
Yeah.
You know, it won't be worth the money.
No.
But there you go.
We've stopped buying new cars generally anyway. To be
Yeah.
honest with you. 'Cause
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're just extortionate and you lose all your money, and they're not really that great. Being honest. Like they have that we talk about our company cars at work where they've just gone that one level above madness on safety stuff where if it's not dinging at you, it's slamming its brakes on because you can't reverse on your own. Well, what are you doing? You know,
There might be a car behind you.
it's the cars are now becoming so like they're interfering and they're killing that. You know, you enjoy driving?
Yeah.
You want to drive, this car yourself? No, let us do it. Let the car do it itself. And I find that really sad. And I do find I get in a lot of these modern cars now. I'm like, off. I just want to drive
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Drives me mad.
I think you compared it the other day to feel like you're a fighter pilot getting into
I'm like flipping switches, except it's not cool. And it's really annoying.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
I wish I was loading on. It's gone.
Yeah.
I'd set off. You're ready for this? No, I'm not. Literally just turning everything off.
It is frustrating. I mean, I know I sound like a right old giffer saying this. I drove a Mark 7 Golf the other day with that radar guided cruise control. I do really like it.
Yes.
And it creeps you in traffic and it's good.
Yeah.
When you're on the M25 every day like I am,
Agreed.
it's great.
Yeah.
But then I drove a newer car. I drove a brand new Range Rover and you drive along and it's boom, boom. And if you're on the phone, they can hear it down the end of the phone. And it's like...
Oh, it doesn't cancel it out. I thought surely it must... wow.
No, because my mate drove it and I was on the hands-free. So I could hear it. I was like, is that bonging from the Range Rover?
Wow.
And he's like, yeah. And they just bong all the time. And you have to go through sub-menus to turn it all off. And it is just so annoying.
Yeah.
It is so frustrating. And it's just a bit too much.
Yes.
And I don't want to sound old. I don't want to sound narrow-minded. Old cars are the best, whatever, blah, blah. It's just a bit too much.
Yeah.
Just tone it down a little bit and get rid of the bonging.
Yeah.
Because it's annoying.
I think some manufacturers, I think Range Rover being one of them, or Land Rover, they've made a button on the steering wheel where you can turn it down a little bit. So you can turn like the sensitivity of the bonging and the safety. You can pretty much press a button, you can turn it down a little bit. But there'll always be something that tries to intervene.
I feel like because I'm not interested in that technology as well, I feel like I'm getting old now. Somebody jumped in my work car the other day and said, "Oh, did you not?" I was trying to turn the climate control down. For some reason, all the fans just like blowing max, and I'm trying to speak on the phone. I'm like, "I'm really sorry," pressing every button. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Just bear with me a second. I'm sorry you can't hear me. He said, "Oh, did you not know if you press the voice control on the steering wheel, you can say, oh, climate control fan 2, or down 5 or whatever?" And I'm like, "No."
I just want a little knob.
What was ever wrong with buttons?
That's why BM had it so right with, okay, it doesn't work perfectly every time, especially when you want to like type something in or whatever, but just the, what do you call it?
The
iDrive. Brilliant. Bring back that, leaning forward.
I know.
I must say, mine is the
we
most,
should know when we never do that.
the most annoying experience is just trying to turn your heated seat on or off. You've got to go right through 2 sub-menus to turn your heated seat on. It's so
it is very frustrating. If you look in my Touareg, there's loads of buttons and knobs and everything. And I know where all of them are. And I can drive along. And if I want to turn my heating up, I know exactly where it is. I don't need to look at it.
Yes.
I just turn it. It's simple. Why can't we just have that?
I know.
And I don't know about you guys, but I think sometimes, do non-car people get annoyed by this as well? Or do they not get fussed by it?
I don't know the answer, but you're absolutely right. Yeah. Does it just frustrate us because we know how older cars are? Or do they think, oh, it's quite cool actually going through 2 menus and I don't know. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
If someone were to start driving today and get in a brand new car and drive it with all the bongs and that going on, would they find it annoying or would they just not care?
Yeah.
Or, I do think that. Do people as a whole actually want this, or is it just us old car giffers that don't want it?
It used to be better 20 years ago.
Back in my day, mate, you didn't have none of this. You were lucky to get an leaky window.
Literally. We are turning to those people.
Yeah. Let's not go whingy about it. Just buy the
bang
old
on
stuff.
for hours.
I could always see the comments. Oh, you're
So, if you had no limits on budget or timeline or whatever, what's the one car you'd go out to buy tomorrow that would make maybe a mega project, or just tick a big box for you?
I knew you was going to ask this. It's such a difficult question because there's so much I want.
Yeah. Or 3, top 3.
Okay.
Like, what would you get?
So my dream car is an old 911.
Okay.
I really, really would like a G body,
Yeah.
930 style 911 with the whale tail, you know, proper old 80s, mid to late 80s 911. But I'd like one as a barn find. I want to find one that's got a story, that was in a family or has been sat in a barn for years. It's not completely rotten, but just needs a good going over, is cool, and just has like a past and a bit of a story to it. That's a bit of a dream for me. I'd love to find something like that. No budget. I would say I grew up in a time where I was watching Top Gear, and one of the biggest sort of things for me was the Veyron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, when the Veyron came out and Jeremy took it across Europe and it done 200 mile an hour, you see that constant clip of that gauge going up with the 1,001 horsepower. And, you know, even if one day I just get to drive one, that is a dream for me. Like to be able to sit in a Veyron and take it for a drive and listen to that starter motor. And I just think they're so cool.
It's all theatre, isn't it? All of it. It's just
outrageous.
When I was really young, well, not really young, but when I was younger, I used to, you know, be into model cars, and I spent, I think it's like 250 quid on this auto-out model of a Veyron. It had real carpet in it, and
wow,
you know, it was cool. And it was because I was so obsessed with the Veyron when it came out. I just thought it was so cool. Other than that, I really do like a Mercedes SLR McLaren.
Yes.
I think they're really cool. That was, when it came out, my favourite car at the time. I think it was 2005, something like that.
Yeah.
And that supercharger noise, and when Jeremy took it to Oslo and stuff, I just thought they were really, really cool.
Yeah,
really cool.
You've only got to look at the starter button, which is on the gear stick. I mean, what better feeling getting in a car, flicking up the hatch and starving that for me
completely unnecessary, but cool.
Absolutely, yeah. Someone thought, yes, that would be a great idea.
Like we're saying, uniqueness though. That's do it. Why does everybody have to have every car works the same way?
Yeah. And I also really like, you know, Zondas and stuff like that when they came out. Would I want to own one? Probably not. They look, I mean, a Veyron would be a pain in the arse, but that looks like a really, really big pain. So.
You could buy Lewis Hamilton's old one that's been crashed.
Oh my god!
3 times.
The purple one.
Yeah.
So
that was crashed again, wasn't it? Not too long back.
God.
But yeah, something like that. If, you know, a Veyron, I say I wouldn't want to fix it, but realistically, I probably would. Yeah, it'd be quite cool.
That'll make some good content.
No, I'd watch a series on that.
That would be cool. I don't know if you guys follow Ed Bolian with his red Veyron. It's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
You get the feeling sometimes that I mean, he loves it. He loves it, but the frustration of
it must be so stressful.
I know. Yeah, I mean, you've not only got the complex way of putting these things on, but it's the cost of the things like tyres.
£20,000 a tyre.
I know, and just again a similar thing really. You almost have to drop the engine for anything because of the sheer size of this thing.
Well, I actually saw a video, I think it was a couple of days ago actually, of a Veyron split in half because you like undo these bolts and the car splits in half. So you got the front half where the doors and the cabin are, and then the whole back of the car with the engine and the gearbox and the chassis and everything comes away.
Yeah,
and you know, you have to basically do a nut and bolt rebuild after every certain amount of time or mileage or whatever it is. And I just think, I don't want that.
No.
I don't want that bit.
No, exactly. Yeah. Quickly run up the numbers on that one.
Yeah, but if this, at the same time, if I was in a position to buy a Veyron and someone said to me, if you fix it there and make some cool content on it, people will find it really interesting and they'd watch it and they'd learn from it and it would be really cool. Of course I would do it. Of course, yeah.
On the 911, I think my favourite era, one of my it was the Bad Boys one, which I don't actually know what that generation is.
964 that was,
incredible. And then I was describing it to Ellie, my missus. She loves Porsche as well, and I was describing, you know, what it was the other day. And she went, "Oh, is it this one?" And she shows me like one of the Kardashians has got one, or one of the.
Oh really?
And I was like. Don't deserve that. You don't know what that is. Oh my god! Like I was livid. Livid. She had one.
How dare you?
I know. It's probably with the amount of money that they've got. I wouldn't be surprised if it is the Bad Boys one.
It
and
might
she
be.
learned how. I swear she was teaching her sister how to drive in it.
Oh god!
I mean, what a car to learn to drive.
Tell me about it.
They're not the easiest things to drive.
I know. Yeah, 'cause you've got the heavy clutch and whatever else. Yeah.
That for me going down like Malibu or
It's just cool.
it's
It's just cool.
Yeah,
The thing
that's
is, they're
so
not.
cool.
You know, I have driven one. And they're not the nicest things in the world to drive, but they're just so cool.
Yeah.
And it's the noise and
The look.
And I think that's what a lot of people, especially car guys, miss about electric cars is we really get a lot of enjoyment out of the feeling of a car and the vibrations and the smells and the noises and the little crackles that they make and you know, the clonks when they change gear and that is obviously fading away. But I just hope that stays. I hope that you know you're still allowed to enjoy that with older cars. Moving forward.
Yes, okay. You know, as you said earlier, okay, if they've banned the sale of new ones, you know, let us enjoy everything prior to that. Still, you know.
But yeah, that's what I like about the old 911s. It's the look. It's cool.
Yeah.
But it's also just that, you know, they really crackle on the overrun, and you got that long throw gear lever. And you sit in a right-hand drive one, and the pedals are, you know, you sit like this, you're off to one side, and and it hurts your hips, but you get great feedback through the steering and the chassis, and you feel everything, and they're just really, really cool things.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Even today, to this day, like the 911s are incredible. Incredible
I think
cars.
what Porsche have done very well is manufacturing how older cars felt.
Yeah.
So, you know, with sort of artificial turbo lag to make it feel like it's an old turbo, you know, and just the way they've managed to just keep that bit of heritage,
rawness.
In a new car. When they could make it 10 times better, really, they've kept that bit that people, Porsche owners are used to. That's it.
Efficient.
Well, I think Porsche still do what BMW did for a long time, which is they value what their customer base actually want, which is why BMW were always rear-wheel drive, front engine, rear-wheel drive, 50-50 weight distribution. That was their thing. You know, a lot of the time 6-cylinder as well. Obviously, they have moved away from it now because the 1 Series is now front-wheel drive and all that. They do still have it with some of their cars, but Porsche have always stuck with that thing of what do our customers actually want? They want a car that drives really well, that feels really nice, that has that bit of turbo lag, or, you know, the chassis is really great, or they can feel these certain vibrations, or whatever. They value that, and I respect that a lot.
Yeah, we're Porsche fanatics. All three of us have got them. And
definitely.
Absolutely love them.
Hopefully one day I will join you.
That's it. We'll have our own road trip.
That would be nice. And then I'll blow mine up on the way.
That's it. Let's put a bit of that in. It can't have it all going well.
For me, it's not they don't brake on me. I brake them. That's my problem.
That's usually the same with me. I'm a bit of both. I either break them or they break on me, but they're usually broken either way.
I need to buy everything with warranty and tick every box on insurance. Do you want coverage for that? Yes. Legal, extra legal protection? Probably.
Yeah.
What's next for Taylor? What's next in the journey?
Well, obviously doing a lot of AutoAlex stuff. So I'm very, very muchly enjoying doing all of this at the moment. Obviously, I have got my own channel and I have been working on that. But to be honest, I really enjoy and value my time here. So I will, this will be taking up the majority of my time, and the TaylorMade cars will still be, a little bit of a side thing for me for now, and at least anyway, because,
Congrats on that, by the way. You've done very well. You've done it quickly.
I'm still very muchly finding my feet with it. Very muchly. I still am in the phase of I don't know what my niche is. Everyone's got their own little niche in what they do.
Yeah.
And I still don't know what mine is. I think I want to follow the route of buying a car, fixing it, selling it, a little bit like wheeler dealers. I used to love watching wheeler dealers. Mike Brewer, whoever he was with, I enjoyed, whether it be Elvis, or Ed China, or what was his name again?
Mark Priestley.
He's Elvis, and there was Anne Anstead. I actually have a unit in Hertfordshire, and it's Anne Anstead's old unit.
Oh, no way.
And it's where he first started his trade. And my doors and the bench that I've got in there was built by Anne Anstead.
Wow.
Bit of a small world.
That's
He
cool.
was in there years and years ago. But whoever it was with, I always enjoyed wheeler dealers. So I would quite enjoy doing something like that. So I'm going to give that a go maybe. And I'm telling you this now, someone's going to nick my idea. Sell it back to me.
Sell it back to you. That's it.
But I value my time most here.
Yeah.
So, I really, really enjoy it here. And this is where I will spend the majority of it still. I could go full time with TaylorMade Cars. Do I really want to? not particularly at the moment
Yeah.
because I'm in a very happy place. But what is next? I would like to buy some cars for my channel and fix them up that I've always wanted to own. You know, I'd like a B7 RS4. I've always wanted a Bentley Continental GT, mainly because it's my mum's favourite car, and I want to turn up with it one day after I've fully restored it and say, "Do you want to go out for dinner in it?"
Yeah, how lovely.
And she'll go, "Oh, can I keep it?" And I'll go, "No, it's a nightmare."
Not yet.
Yeah. Things like that. Hopefully, at some point, an old 911 as well, because that is the dream.
Now you've said that though, you're never going to get a cheap one.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to know.
Everyone's going to put the prices up.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same again. We'll just put this podcast out in a few months. And that's it.
Yeah. But I'm really, really happy with the cars that I have at the moment. Very content with them. You know, the other stuff that I would like, I'm not like, oh, I need to go out and buy that now. I'm very, you know, just wanting to fix and finish the ones that I have, like the 540 and, you know, all the little bits on the 205 and the 6 Series. I'm just going to get them perfect and just enjoy them.
Nice. Yeah. Finally, then, who out there that you haven't yet would you love to, whether it's on TaylorMade Cars or AutoAlex, love to collaborate with?
That is a tough one. I would really like to collaborate with Shretton M539 Restorations. Obviously, I've met him a couple of times. He's a really, really nice bloke. And I have watched his stuff for years. There's been many a time where I've sat around my mate's Henry's house in his living room watching Shretton rebuild an old 7 Series or something like that, and, you know, watching all the time lapses of him going over it and doing all that. That's proper car nerdy stuff. And at some point, I'd love to take my M5 over to him and him say, "Yeah, this is really crap," and I'm like, "Yeah, brilliant." You know. So, yeah, I'd love to do a collab with him at some point. I think that'd be really interesting. I would one day not necessarily like to collab, but like to meet Clarkson.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the dream for any car guy, really. You know, just to, you know, shake his hand and say hello or whatever. It would be cool to meet him one day.
Of course.
So that would be a bit of a dream. Anyone else? I don't know, really.
Just seen the recent one you did with Shmi. That was quite cool. The Clio build.
Yeah. Tim's a great guy. He's very, very interesting.
Yeah. His car collection is awful.
I mean, what a poor bloke, honestly.
Yeah. Every week it's pick up my brand new car. What do you mean? What do you mean? What's wrong with the other 20 of them?
Yeah, he's you know, I'm not a massive supercar guy, but you know, you walk into his place and it's jaw dropping.
Yeah.
It is amazing. He's a really interesting guy. He's so knowledgeable and so intelligent, and I just sit there opposite him and he'll speak, and I'll just think, my God, I'm an idiot.
Yeah. It's incredible how it's one thing, knowing your stuff about the car, but the level of detail he goes into, one hit as well. It's a skill. It is an art.
Yeah, and like he would talk to me about some of his cars, and I think, oh, you know, my cars are cool because they've got a story. And his like spec his from brand new, and he's, you know, I've got this because of this reason, and it's a heritage for this, and you know, I've put this plate on it because it means this, this, and this, and it's, you know, I just think, he's picked the colour because he likes the colour, not because it's, you know, it's the first ever one of these that came out in, you know, 1979 was this exact colour code, and I've had it done exactly to that with the same interior, and it's identical, and I think, my God.
And the number plate matches the colour code. And
and I think this guy he's passionate about his cars and cars in general, and a bit like me, obsessed. Yeah. And I admire that. Yeah. Really admire it. And he's a great guy, Tim. Really, really great guy. And working with him was a pleasure. Even if it was doing a little 1.2 Clio, you know, it was really good fun. Really good few days.
Sure.
And working with Dan as well. There's a guy there called Dan from Dan's Auto Services. And, you know, a bit like me, started off in the trade and then worked his way out to YouTube. And it was just awesome, just working with them all and just building this one-off Clio, you know, making it look like a 1.2, but have all 182 running gear in it. It was really great fun. I love doing stuff like that. Really love doing stuff like that.
So. It's something that not nobody, but not a lot of people have thought about doing. And I can just imagine that little 1.2 Clio rolling down the street, and all of a sudden it's got pop and bang map on. It'll, you know, pretty much go around a track like a 182 would.
It's really great fun. Really great fun. And I feel like I learnt a lot from Tim, and Tim sort of watched us do it, and he learnt quite a lot. And I think he was a bit amazed at like how quickly you could put a car together and make it all work. And you know, he's not very hands-on. He doesn't really do mechanical work. But him watching it, I think he was a bit like, this is really cool. I really like this. And I think he enjoyed it as well. So
Yeah,
it was a pleasure to work with all of them, actually. It was really nice.
Nice.
So if I can do more of that in the future as well, that would be cool.
Yeah.
So
We'll look for it.
absolutely. Yeah. Look
There
forward
we
to
go.
it.
yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
I think we've covered everything we
Pretty
wanted to,
much,
unless you wanted
yeah.
to tell anybody about anything you've got coming up, or
Well, what have we got coming up in terms of
just be careful though,
AutoAlex?
because you know.
Oh, it'll be off. It'll be all right. We've got a Overlander series coming up, which is very cool. So we're taking 3 SUVs and we're turning into off-roaders. So we're going to lift them up a bit, chunky tyres, roof tents on them, and we're going to go on a winter adventure, which is very exciting. We've then got a series early next year where we're taking 3 luxury cars, old luxury cars, to Africa.
Oh wow!
And we're going to drive them further than we've ever driven before, which
Amazing.
I'm really excited about, because driving to Croatia was, you know, we go on a lot of road trips. It's the first time I thought I feel really far away now. Like everything looks really different.
Yeah.
Nothing looks European. I feel like I've driven somewhere really far. And obviously we had.
Yeah.
So yeah, driving to Africa is going to be super, super interesting. I'm excited for that. In terms of TaylorMade Cars, I've got my Touareg build coming out on my V10 Touareg. I'm hoping to do some stuff with my M5 soon. I'm going to fix that up because it is a little bit broken, as an E60 M5 normally is. And as I say, hopefully buy a few cars and fix them up and then sell them on and do that sort of style. Other than that, next year, I've already said to the guys, I really want to go to Japan. And I want to buy a car in Japan, do a road trip with it in Japan. And they have agreed to that and said we will work. Nothing's planned yet, but they've said we would like to do that. And we're going to go back out to America.
Yeah.
Because last year was the first year I've ever been to America. We went to Las Vegas and I absolutely loved it. It was awesome. We bought a G-Wagon while we were out there, an old G-Wagon, quite rubbish. And we're going to buy the bits over here to fix it. We're going to take them out there, fix it up, and then we're going to drive it across America, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to get out more and travel. I love traveling and seeing the world. And I've always said as well, that the best way to see the world is in a car.
Yeah.
Because you get to stop off at some really cool places that you'd not normally stop at. You don't go to a destination. You see loads of destinations. And it's just a great way to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And you meet some really cool people as well when you're in a car. You know, you stop off and you just get chatting to people and you meet friends, and you know, you stop and the odd people recognise you for YouTube and stuff like that. And you just get chatting to them. It's really nice. Really, really nice.
I agree with that.
I'm excited to do that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Next time you're booking Ryanair, don't bother.
Just
Get on the
jump in
Eurotunnel and
Just
go.
buy something really crap and break down somewhere in Europe.
Sounds enjoyable.
Yeah. Selling the dream.
Yeah.
Well, if you've enjoyed this episode with Taylor, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let us know who you want on Talkin Shop next.